I'm picking up where MVP 07 NCAA baseball has left off, creating the ultimate online Dynasty experience and a modern baseball game that I've always wanted to play. One where myself and a group of friends can choose teams, scout, recruit, sign, and battle against each other online while progressing through dozens of seasons. But to do this, I had to do some extensive creation and game design myself. But before I unveil the curtain, I have to share a little bit of context as to why I would be crazy enough to try and make my own online Dynasty extension for one of my favorite baseball games that exists today. So let's take it back. In 2005, EA Sports released what is regarded as one of the best baseball games of all time, MVP Baseball 2005. This game had Owner Mode, which was familiar to franchise or Dynasty mode, but with additional responsibilities like setting ticket and concession prices, hiring staff, managing stadium upgrades. This mode also allows you to design a custom ballpark with options for location, field shapes, seat colors, wall, grass, and dirt designs, and additional seating levels. I played this game a ton. It felt like the height of my baseball gaming experience. But then the unthinkable happened. EA Sports no longer had the MLB license, and it seemed that that would be the end of MVP Baseball and the MVP brand. But the fine folks over at EA Sports at the time had other ideas. They decided to save the name and the engine and to pivot to college baseball on their success in NCAA football, which was in its prime at the time. The launch of MVP 06 NCAA baseball would usher in the very first AAA college baseball game that featured the most popular game mode at the time, Dynasty mode. It was incredible because you could take on the role of managing a college baseball team, setting lineups, making substitutions, deciding strategies through multiple seasons. The mode mirrors real-life challenges like injuries, academic suspensions, varied weather conditions, and an added depth. A key component of the Dynasty mode is the detailed recruitment system, where players actively recruit new talent for their team, a process that included personal visits and calls and managing recruitment points earned through victories. There's even a fog of war and a potential system. Then the next year, MVP 07 NCAA baseball would be released with some marginal improvements, but due to what it might have been poor sales or the costly endeavor of university rights, sadly, EA Sports would choose to discontinue the title. So for 27 years, I've been yearning for this experience again. I've tried to create it before, but there had always been huge issues. A game limitation, a lack of people to play with, but like a gift from the stars, many things have fortuitously collided to make the creation of the next big online Dynasty experience possible. First up, the game. I needed a game that enabled you to make a completely new set of custom teams with custom players that you could play online with against other people. Now, the game that has the flexibility to do all of those things is eBaseball Power Pros. It's a really solid game, super deep, and an art style which you either love or you hate. Secondly, team and Dynasty progression management. Normally, this would be done in-game, but without the ability to code this to be in-game, I needed to create the system of transferring data and the skills to program it and the logic in and out of game as an extension. Enter Excel. I know, crazy. It's not the prettiest solution, but it is so powerful as a database and information system that it can be the backbone for our league hub. Thirdly, I needed to design the teams, the players, and the recruits. With this Excel system as a base, and the game as a front end, I created 8 college teams to start, with ambitions to scale to more in the future. I created the team designs and the players based on their real-world counterparts for teams in the SEC and Pac-12. And for the recruits, I built a fictional recruit generation tool that will create 50 random prospects with their star rating, their position, 20/80 scale across ratings, their top priority, and initial interest in schools. This generation tool will help us populate the recruit database in the Excel sheet that we'll then recruit against. Next, how to handle scouting and recruiting. This I had to do the old-fashioned way, with a point system based on the recruits' priorities. The coaches will fill out after each weekly advance via Google form. But I had to add a little taste of randomness, a little flair, a little something extra. Each class features 50 plus storylines that will be released like a content or news update. These storylines are similar to the draft class storylines that Nick and I made for the Madden draft classes, if you can remember those. As each storyline is released, ratings and abilities of prospects will also be unlocked. Also, some of these storylines are branching. It depends on what these coaches do that will determine which way one player will go or another. They haven't encountered this yet. I haven't even told them this, but they'll come to find out. Lastly, I needed a group of friends. This was the last missing piece of the puzzle, but I was able to convince a friend group of mine and a few others from the Power Pros World community to take the leap with me. So I got to work, grinding, writing this all out, putting it all together, powering this entire backbone of our online dynasty. So the hype is high, the excitement is unmatched, and we just kicked off week 1, spring training, and I got a brilliant idea. How about instead of this just living in the Excel sheets and in-game and in our Discord communication channels, how about I take you along for the ride for this entire online dynasty? I'll share news, recruit storylines, game progress, highlights, condensed games, a lot more. I'm thinking I'll do it like a show, a college baseball dynasty league show, and we'll call it The Deuce, just like the league. So how about we kick things off with a little segment for this show here today. Let's get it on, The Rundown. The Deuce brings in 7 of the top players and myself, coaches and strategists of the Power Pro scene. They've chosen their teams, so let's go through their chances. First up in the SEC, we have Senior Splash in the Arkansas Razorbacks. Splash has been on a little bit of a skid lately, finishing last in the Hyper Offense League, but expect him to do big things with this Razorback team. Dual aces Hagen Smith and Will McIntyre are forces to be reckoned with on the mound, and with the best all-around fielders in the league led by shortstop Wiwa Aloy, he's going to be absolutely tough to beat. Taking it over to Tennessee is B. Farrell, the streaky monster hitter, and with the Tennessee Vols, he just might have all the pieces to dominate this league. Starting pitcher Drew Beam clocking in at 100 miles per hour fastball. It looks crazy scary on the mound, and outfielders Billy Mick, Jared Dickey, and Griffin Merritt are poised to track down every single ball hit in the outfield. Tennessee might just be the most powerful team in this league under B. Farrell's leadership. Moving on to Florida, coached by Compass. Compass, of course, recognizes one of the 4 finalists of the USA Cup and is probably one of the most skilled players in the league alongside iPump Plastic. But he has a lot to prove in this league with this group on PlayStation, normally a Switch player. He takes over Florida, which has shed some talent over the last year, but still has the Florida home run record leader, Jack Caglione. Along with some sneaky pitchers and a solid catcher in Langford, he's looking to make a run for the SEC championship. Lastly, in the SEC is Georgia, coached by Slimefall. A solid contender in the EPL, Slimefall chose to take 2-star Georgia, if not for a challenge to stunt on us all, because there is no one who can perform with this team other than Slime. He will really need Charlie Condon and Charlie Goldstein to put the team on their back if he wants to sneak away this year with a winning record in the SEC, but I believe he can do it. As we move over to the Pac-12, we have what has been deemed Hyper 12, as it features a group of players who all did quite well in iPump Plastic's Hyper Offense League. First up, Moose, who will be coaching Stanford. Moose is a sleeper pick to win it all, as he had the 2nd overall pick for team despite having a very competitive record. His Stanford team is stacked, with starting pitcher Matt Scott, Sam Garwal, with standout catcher Malcolm Moore. These fielders are all above average to elite and considered MLB prospects. I don't think Moose is going to lose very many games. Second, myself taking over the Oregon State Beavers, once a famed baseball program continually trying to win a Pac-12 championship. Last one they've won is 2017. But there are some pieces here, starting with MLB prospect second baseman Travis Bazzana. Pitching staff is the most questionable, but hopefully the bats will keep them in some games. Now over to Arizona. Matt Paz takes the reign after having the 2nd best record in the Hyper Offense League. Arizona is no slouch, a 4-star school with solid pitching staff, an even better set of fielders led by first baseman Kiko Romero and outfielder Chase Davis. Expect Arizona to give everyone a challenge in this league. And last but not least, iPump Plastic in Oregon, one of the best Power Pro players to take the 2023 Pac-12 champions, the Oregon Ducks. I don't know how we let that happen. They will be the team to beat with a strong coach, strong program, and a lot of pieces to build around, starting with starting pitcher Josh Mulleris and second baseman Riku Nishida. So that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Tune into next episode of The Deuce when we kick off with spring training action.